Kia ora and welcome to a midweek breakdown special. Yes, it is All Black Team Naming Day, and what are we talking about? Well, they've picked their side for the last Rugby Championship game. It's against the Springboks, second week in a row. They've made a number of changes. Let's quickly look at the team, and there's plenty to like about this side. Significant changes, particularly up front, the likes of Luke Jacobson. He comes in, gets his opportunity at number 8. Adi Savea, the captain, he moves back to open side flanker. Moody, Taylor and Laulala up front. Same locking combination of Retallick and Barrett. Brad Weber comes in at halfback for TJ Perenara. Beauden Barrett remains at first 5. Rieko Ioane, what does he do? He shifts to the wing as Anton Leonard-Brown returns. Sevu Reece gets an opportunity on the wing. Geordie Barrett in at fullback, remains at fullback after an impressive performance last weekend. Heroics with that game-winning kick. Asafa Amua comes onto the bench. George Bauer comes onto the bench. And Ethan Blackadder moves from starting to the bench as well. TJ Perenara, he's on the bench. Richie Mo'unga comes back into the squad. No rugby. He's out of quarantine. He's been at training. Mils Muliaina, you're joining me for this discussion. What struck you straight away when you saw the team?
Oh, gee, I'll tell you what, it's a pretty strong side, isn't it? Goldie, and the fact that he's had it's basically luxury really for Ian Foster. He's had minimal sort of impact in terms of injuries, which he's been very fortunate. Touch wood, that continues, but this is a very strong side. A lot of people would have thought that he might have rotated a bit, but in terms of the front row, he's been able to rest a couple as well. So no, this is a very, very strong side. Nice to see also Anton Leonard-Brown come back from injury. So looking forward to his combination with David Havili sort of getting back together and getting to see where that sort of, I suppose, their routine and that combination. So looking forward to this test match. It's a very, very strong team.
Yeah, no surprises that Luke Jacobson comes in. He missed out through illness. I think they want to see this combination play together. Akira Ioane was quiet last weekend, but it was that sort of game. There were limited opportunities for him to play to his strengths. So much talked about this game tactically. Adi Savea goes back to open side. The captain was always going to continue. The big thing for me, I like the fact that Brad Weber is getting to start this game for the All Blacks because it's like for like, and it's not Aaron Smith, and you can't replace Aaron Smith, but the tempo and accuracy and speed that Aaron Smith plays with is what Brad Weber brings to the game. We saw his impact late in the game, but for me, I think he adds a bigger threat with his running game. I'd like to see him get in a position where he can hold the defence a little bit more. There's no doubt he can create things through the inside channel. For me, that's a significant change, and that may free up Beauden Barrett, I think, to maybe play a little bit flatter. He played a little bit deep and wasn't able, I don't think, to create for players around him as much as last weekend.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too because the South Africans really brought a lot of heat on defence. The line speed was very quick, which had Beauden Barrett had to drop a little bit deeper. So yeah, you're exactly right. And that running game also, that's what Weber's really dangerous about. He's got a nice zip pass, so he might get a little bit faster there in terms of ball delivery, but also his effectiveness around that ruck area should the South Africans slacken off around that ruck and sort of just leave a gap open for him. He's very dangerous in that department.
So, are you talking rotation on the outsides after a tough night at the office for George Bridge? Will Jordan had an impact, scored a very important try in the game, but was unsighted for most of the rest of that performance. So, Sevu Reece and Rieko Ioane go to the wings. Is that a significant change for you? And are these guys going to be able to handle the barrage that's going to come their way?
Oh, look, I think they will be able to handle the barrage. I think, they've got another week, under their belt in terms of preparing for what's, coming. I think, Sevu Reece coming into play, is really touch and go to see whether he started last week. So it's nice that Ian Foster is, I suppose, giving these guys an opportunity. Like, there's not much in them. Obviously, George Bridge, apart from that, the ball that he put down last week and it turned into a try, pretty solid. So you got really good competition there. I think, Ioane moving out to the wing, obviously that's from the back end of Anton Leonard-Brown coming back. But I think him and Geordie Barrett, I think, you've got to keep those guys out there on the park. They're in really hot form. And I suppose that's what's on Ian Foster's mind, the fact that these guys are running in some really good form. Keep them out there and continue that form. I think the biggest benefactor out of this whole sort of championship is really Geordie Barrett. The way he's played, he's had an opportunity. He got out there. He was red carded in that first game against the Australians. But you're really seeing him grow now in terms of especially his kicking. We all know how good his kicking was in terms of being able to bout it from anywhere. But now the accuracy's there, and the accuracy's coming from the confidence, the ability, the fact while he's getting picked week in, week out, he's making some really good decisions. And keeping him out there and playing some solid football, I think is a really good thing for this All Black team.
Is this a massive opportunity for Luke Jacobson, given the fact that Hoskins Sotutu has shown his abilities out on the field? But I look at this type of confrontational nature of the game, the fact that he is a guy who can give us something a little bit different in terms of his running lines and support lines. He likes an offload. I mean, is this a big opportunity for him to almost elevate his role as the number 8 long-term for the All Blacks?
Oh, this is huge. I think huge opportunity for Jacobson, but I think he's also a different player. A lot different than what Sotutu would bring. He's really hard. That physicality in terms of what sort of he brings, the ball carrier. Even in the middle of the park when he gets out there and his decision making in terms of passing it back door and then the ability to still be able to go forward even though he's been hit. So he's very strong in the leg area. So I'm looking forward to him stepping up. But he also gives the coaching staff a different dynamic. In terms of what they're trying to achieve. I think the approach this week is that hardened look and making sure that guys, really win that contact to be able to speed that ball up for guys like Weber to get in behind there and then hopefully, spread it out wide. So tactically, I think this is really good opportunity for him to get out there and really show, what he's made of in terms of that physical battle.
So John Kirwan is always going on, Mills, but he wants to see guys get opportunity. So you think about the changes in the squad, you think about the guys who have come in, the likes of Asafa Amua. Samasone Tokiaho has been outstanding. George Bauer, we know what Carl Tunukuafe can do. Ethan Blackadder remains part of that development program. If you look at this squad, is this exposing a few more players to a different challenge? Is this a nice balance of guys who just went through something last weekend, going through it again this weekend, but then exposing some new players to a different experience against the Springboks?
Different pressures too, Goldie. I think it's a nice continuation of where he's taking his guys. Ethan Blackadder, he's been huge in terms of what he's provided. Started last week off the back end of Jacobson getting injured late and having to pull out. I think Bauer, his development, certainly from the early test matches back here in New Zealand has been huge. So he's just growing, those key sort of areas. You add on there's a little bit of experience as well to Balotu on the bench and that, outstanding. So I think the way he's implementing his I suppose lower caps or more inexperienced players has been really good. But what I've been really impressed about is the fact that they had stood up. There hasn't been one sort of guy that sort of you think, oh no, he's out of place there, and perhaps give him a couple more, give someone else an opportunity. Look at Tokiaho and how he's sort of come on. He wasn't even named in the squad earlier in the year, and now he's probably pushing Moore. So now Moore gets an opportunity. So it just creates a really healthy environment and a really healthy competition. So the All Blacks, so they'll be, I'm sure, very happy with the way they're sort of implementing some of these guys.
So let's go right to the end of the very bench. Richie Mo'unga, with the back of no rugby, he'll come in great condition. He knows how to train. And Damien McKenzie, who was in a position and playing and starting at fullback. What do you think their mindset is, those two players right now, looking at the end of year tour, 5 big test matches in front of them? What do you think they'll be looking to prove? And is this a luxury that any team around the world would love to have coming off their bench at any time, let alone a game against the Springboks?
Oh, I'd say, a luxury, all right. I mean, these are quality players. And if you look at Damien McKenzie, the way he's played this year, he's probably feeling a little bit unlucky in terms of, the way Geordie Barrett's gone and basically accelerated there. Now he hasn't really had another opportunity apart from when he started at 10. But it probably, long term in terms of the end of year tour and their away trip there, perhaps thinking about, ways to try and, I suppose, get their form up and get them play themselves back in there. They're going to get opportunities. They're going to get game time on this massive tour. But I think the focus for them now is, where do they go? For Damien McKenzie especially, he's now covering, different positions. He played at 10. He's probably back at fullback now. Richie Mo'unga, different mindset once again. But I like the way they've introduced him back. I think this is a good game to be able to get him back out there. Who knows how long he'll play? Probably 20 odd minutes or so, but it gets him back into the groove of things to then, when they go on the India tour. Well, now it's another headache to have for Ian Foster. So when I talk about that whole competition, this is a great way to sort of bring guys back into it, but also have guys that have been there, like a Damian McKenzie, that are still hungry. They're hungry to start. They're hungry to keep each other honest and get that starting position, which I love. It's absolutely outstanding the way they've gone about it.
So, Mills, we name our team on a Thursday. The Springboks told us on Tuesday who they were going to play, and it's pretty much the same side. They've told us they liked what they did last weekend. We know what to expect. So, if you look at this All Black team, they've selected for this challenge. How does it unlock the challenge of the Springboks, and do we do it more comprehensively this weekend?
I think we need to be a little bit more accurate. I think our accuracy last week wasn't that great. I think that the danger for South Africa is they go into this and try to keep this sort of game going and losing their accuracy. I think they're tempted to actually try and throw the ball around a little bit more and try and get something out of this and hope that the score doesn't blow out a bit, because I think this is going to be a dangerous New Zealand team. I think they've had 1 week where they knew they didn't play very well. They were put under the pump. But certainly, I think they'll look to implement different parts of their game, perhaps a little bit more of a kicking battle and turning the box around and trying to tire them out a bit. And the refereeing is going to be massive too, because hopefully we won't have too many stoppages. So, for South Africa, obviously status quo they're saying, but I get a feeling that they will chance their arm a little bit and try and get something out of this championship.
Well, we'll see, Mills. Always great to get your thoughts. I'm looking forward to the test match. Put your feet up. Enjoy. We'll talk about it all on Monday night. All right, mate. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, mate.